Giant exotic pet cracker cookies. Giant exotic pet cracker cookies.
Giant exotic cracker cookies.
Girl, you only got 45 minutes. Crash it and start over. Hey, I am Taylor. I'm an award-winning and award-losing cake decorator. I've been a cake decorator for about 12 years. I've had amazing successes and horrifying failures, and I'm here today to react to Nailed It on Netflix. If you're anything like me, you've seen these shows get more and more popular, and I've always wondered if other people would be interested to hear what you should have done in that situation, and if these things are even possible in the time that they're given, because genuinely a lot of the times they're not. So today I'm going to react to Nailed It Season 6, Episode 1. If I see them do something that I wouldn't do, I'll stop and talk about it, but of course there's 100 different ways to do cake, and if you have any suggestions, comments, or questions, drop them in the chat below and I'll take a look. Let's see if it's possible.
I have had a few disasters in the kitchen. One time I had to call the fire department because I set a pizza on fire in the oven.
So, little known fact, you actually develop what I call baker senses, it's like spidey senses. So you kind of stop burning stuff in the oven because you eventually just have like this knowledge of time where you're like, it's been 5 minutes, I must go.
Today that anything is possible.
Blah, boo, tomato, tomato, tomato.
Actor, singer, and comedian Wayne
Wayne Brady!
Don't you're gonna be making these giant exotic pet cracker
those
cookies.
are really big cookies. So I will say, like, looking at this, it's a big cookie. It's not a lot of heavy decorating, which is good for this kind of thing where they're having to go quickly. It's all one color. There's not a whole lot of techniques involved. Like, you're gonna need some piping technique, but that's really it. The icing that's on the cookie itself, you're probably gonna pour on it.
You have
45 minutes. Okay. So, so that's a problem. 45 minutes is really not enough time, which is kind of the point of the show. Okay, so I was right about them pouring on, but it's actually not icing. He's using like chocolate melts.
Giant exotic pet cracker cookies. Giant exotic pet cracker cookies. Giant exotic pet cracker cookies.
Giant exotic cracker cookies.
Down,
Oh,
when it comes to
she just poured a splash of cream in, but that seems pretty dangerous. You never just want to like pour something in. You know, baking is a science at its core. Follow a recipe, follow a recipe, follow a recipe. You have to. You don't get a choice. Oh, no!
She put about 16 times the quantity of...
So she's saying that she put about 16 times too much heavy cream.
Is that why
in
it looks
That's
like that?
So as far as technique goes, this is not her fault. Okay, if I were making this cookie, I would absolutely have something printed. Just straight up. I'm not gonna try to freehand a parrot.
Tina, get a cake board.
Tina, get a cake board.
Tina, get a cake board.
Tina, get a cake board. Cake board, cake board.
Tina, get a cake board.
Tina, get a...
There's a lot of little fun songs in this episode. I love that. That is horrifying.
Oh, that's not.
Ew! Honey, no.
Look, wait.
Obviously, it's way too liquidy. First off, she's not gonna be able to roll it. It's just not gonna happen. I feel really bad. Nothing good is gonna happen from the dough that she's created. Nothing good. Nothing at all. So I would start over. I would just plumb start over. I have a feeling she's not going to plumb start over because she's got 45 minutes.
Well, this is for sure a microwavable bowl.
Oh no! Sir, please don't put metal in the microwave. Don't put metal in the microwave. It's not gonna be a good situation for anybody. It's gonna spark. It's gonna start a fire.
Using cocoa butter.
Okay, that's
Color.
interesting.
The royal...
Cocoa butter is used to color chocolate. Usually when you're trying to color chocolate, you don't want to use like gel icing color or liquid coloring because chocolate, believe it or not, it's very, very dry. It is dry, dry, dry. And if you add any kind of liquid to it, it's going to seize up and it's going to like get chunky. You want to use cocoa butter because you're kind of like, you're using itself to color itself, if that makes sense. I like this frosted tip they have on here. Edible cocoa butter can also be used to create a velveteen look. If you drop that melted cocoa butter in a sprayer, like a paint sprayer, you know, like for walls, and you spray that on something, it's gonna look velvet. It's gonna look velveteen. I made stuff like that in school. Oh, honey, no.
You can do it, Laquita.
Oh, no. Oh, I feel so bad for her. It's just getting worse and worse and worse.
10, It will look hopefully just decent.
What are you doing? None of them are really doing the pour over method with the melted chocolate. And I wonder if maybe it's because it's a little bit too thick. So the thing with candy melts, right? It's not actual chocolate. If you get this to just a little bit too hot, it'll actually get harder to pour. You almost want it to be like warmer than like room temperature, like warmer than body temperature, but not super hot. Another thing you can do to fix the consistency of your chocolate melts is to mix in some vegetable oil. It'll make it a little bit more runny, so you can do the pour over.
Are you really putting wasabi on your cookies?
Just putting wasabi peas on your cookies. Don't put wasabi peas on your cookies. Oh God, and then they have to hang it on a hook so it has to be presented on the same thing. Oh, and it's gonna be so warm. Oh. You have to give it to them. It is entertaining. I mean, it's hard to watch, but it is entertaining. Yeah, you feel bad for them because they're really set up to fail. If they have a blast chiller in this kitchen, that's what I would have used to get that cookie to a point where it could have stayed on these. Okay, that's not so bad. You can clearly see it's a parrot. It has some of the detail on it.
I just want you to see.
Oh boy.
There's a hair in my cookie.
Laquita, this cookie was like someone rear-ended me. And while I was dealing with the aftermath, T-boned me.
They hold these people to such a high standard. Oh my God, they're sending them home with a 1-year supply of those circus cookies. Ugh, that's awful, terrible prize. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Also, side note, I'm pretty sure they make them wear that golden hat as like a deterrent almost. Like it looks horrifying to deal with. It's shedding gold and just feels rude. I think like the final question of like watching one of these is it possible in the amount of time given for a professional? I think for me the answer is no, this wouldn't be possible. Eventually I'd like to do one of these videos where I watch a nailed it challenge and then the next video I do, I show you guys how to do it. Like actually give you guys a full tutorial. This cookie would not be one that I would try to show you. I don't think it's possible in the time given. So let's see what the final challenge is.
You are making
My dog cried!
I can't imagine, especially in 90 minutes. In 90 minutes? Woo! Oh, they have to make their own bacon for it too? The fact that none of it's ready for them. Okay, so they don't actually have a ton of structure in this cake. They're just kind of stacking cake to make it work, which is fine. I don't have any issue with that. I would probably have something a little bit more stable, but that's because I've had cakes fall over before and now I'm like once bitten, twice shy.
8 eggs is way too many eggs to put in a cake.
So she's gonna not follow the recipe again.
That doesn't make sense.
So I don't cook bacon
What is
at
she
home.
doing? What are you doing with
don't
that?
really eat bacon.
So she just undercooked her bacon.
Cooking bacon for me is
Oh,
pretty
boy.
stressful.
All right, so why are they having so much trouble with the bacon? They've got about an hour and they're getting their bacon out. What have they been doing for 30 minutes? Good gravy.
I'm afraid that Laquita bacon is not.
I mean, I'd be
enough. You can-
overcooking the bacon almost myself because you don't want to like bite into a piece of cake and get like a big chewy, like flappy bacon bit. They do have a blast chiller. Oh no. She's using the blast chiller, but she's put in the pan. You could freeze your pan to your cake.
Oh my God. I've messed the fondant up. I've got to figure something out.
Yeah, you don't really want to roll fondant on wood. It's going to pick up the impression of everything that you roll on.
Structure is probably the most important part.
So they didn't give you any structure.
Every time I watch Nailed It, I'm always so baffled by the people.
I also get baffled by people who have their cake stuck,
in their
but
pan.
it happens.
It can happen. It's just mush.
I feel so bad. These cakes are so warm that they're not going to be like good for stacking. Cool it, stack it, ice it, get everything iced, put it back in the fridge for a while, and then carve it. That way that buttercream has a chance to do what butter does in the fridge, which is hard. They don't have time for that. So they're stacking and then cutting immediately. Okay, it's probably just a toxic trait of mine, but I think I might be able to do this in 90 minutes. It would not be perfect, it would not be pretty, but I could see it being done. And I'll show you guys what an experienced baker would do in 90 minutes and see what it's like.
Nailed it.
I think the worst part about this show for me is that they just blatantly laugh in the face of the people who are trying to make this work. Like they're being asked to do something impossible and then they get laughed at. Oh, that one's pretty good. Okay, so the last one has kind of a look to it. It looks like a dog-ish, kind of like a dog. Oh boy. Ooh.
I'm like really fighting it.
Oh, it's because she didn't put enough. I forgot she only did half the eggs that she was supposed to. Somehow it looks dry and gummy at the same time, which is pretty incredible.
There is no enough.
You don't know better than the recipe. You don't know better than the recipe. You don't know better than the recipe. Somebody tried to make this work. Trust them. I hate that hat. She's just shedding glitter everywhere. There's glitter all over her face and her hair. You just know there's glitter in the food. She's covered in glitter. Ridiculous. Stop making them wear that hat. It's not food safe and it's just a bit rude.
The winner of this challenge wins
None of those cakes were $10,000 cakes.
$10,000.
But how could they be? Regardless of who wins, I think the final question again is, could this be done in the amount of time they've given? 90 minutes? I don't see this happening in 90 minutes. There was a lot of advice I could have given these bakers, but nothing that would have saved them from the fact that there's just not physically enough time to do some of this stuff. All right, that's the episode. Season 6, episode 1 of Nailed It. Is it possible? Not really, no. That dog cake, I'd be interested in maybe giving a shot, but the cookie, 45 minutes, not gonna do it. And I think even the dog cake, if I wanted to do that dog cake and I wanted it to be up to the standard that I wanted, like I'd probably want at least 8 to 12 hours with that cake, minimum. Like comfortably, 8 to 10 hours with that cake. All right, thank you guys for joining me. I had a lot of fun. I'll watch another episode of Nailed It. If there's any other shows that you want me to check out, if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, drop them below. I'd love to learn more. That's it for me. See ya.